All right, welcome to
you,
the
Paul?
December meeting of TriEmbed. We're trying out the hybrid online and in-person meeting tonight. We'll see how it goes. Welcome. We have one new member online. Trading spaces here.
Daniel Pulsifer.
Yeah.
Did I massacre that?
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, Pulsifer.
Have you been on here before? Yeah. You have. Oh, okay, cool.
No, well, no, I haven't been in a meeting before.
Somebody else meeting.
It was someone else.
Right. Announcements. Carolina was last month. How many people went to it? 3 of us. Okay. It was. I missed it the last couple of years.
Food was good.
Food was good. The lines at
Yep.
the lunch were incredible. They were in quickly, and the show was pretty typical for a piece of Carolina.
But they actually overflowed into other rooms
two extra.
to a large extent this year.
Meeting room or exhibition room. Any other things coming up in the near future?
It's a little early to talk about the Hamfest, which is April.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little early on that.
There is a Triangle Linux users group meeting every first Thursday of the month, I believe. And it's called trilug.org, TRILUG.org. It meets at one of the textile buildings over at NC State. And there are talks on a lot of different subjects. It's one of the oldest Linux users groups in existence. It was started in 1993. So anyway, that's on the calendar every month.
All right. This month's problem of the month, we have a guest presenter, Donnie Lee, and
She has a problem.
offered
Said
to
help.
present a problem.
So can somebody put that PDF up that I emailed you? So I have it. Let's see what.
You can.
Let
just
me
present
try
and share.
screen sharing.
Yep. I don't have email access on this laptop. Maybe I do.
Okay, so that should work then. Oops. All right, well, I guess that's as good as I'm gonna get it.
Is this a
So,
photograph of the future?
pardon?
Is it a photograph of what you're
No,
gonna see when you
okay,
get home?
so I have, it doesn't look so, it's bright in here, and so I guess at home, it might not be as bright to people, but, so this is a photograph of my pride and joy, the lights that go up and down my driveway, and they're, let's see, there's another photo at night, and that's like, this is the whole reason, the thing I love most about my house. Okay, so we're getting to the problem. So, and so mostly it's aesthetic.
Is this in the foreground of a cul-de-sac or something?
Okay,
And that's your
well.
driveway, or?
Unfortunately, it shows up on my screen, but it's not showing. Can you
Yeah,
see
no,
this?
that looks
Okay?
fine.
We can
Yeah,
see
you
his
can
drawing.
see it. Okay, so yeah, this is. You can see a schematic here of the street, and then what you saw was looking down the driveway towards the street,
Okay.
and then you can go past the house, and then it kind of just stops. There's weeds there. A lawn, and I put it in quotes because it's some green stuff that I occasionally mow, and then a little drive that runs alongside the side of the house. And then there's trees everywhere, and then the little driveway lights. And so here's kind of a picture of that from the same perspective, sort of.
Your lights were on the other side though, from the drawing.
No, she's standing in the lawn looking down the driveway.
Yeah, looking down towards the street. And to the right is the drive that goes alongside the house, and the left is the one that goes in front of the house. So that, okay, just to orient you. So is everybody oriented?
Yeah.
Orientation matters in this. Okay. And so the problem area is what's circled here in the center. Okay. So this now is a recent photo that I took the other night, and the, oh, you can see my, how about that? So my cursor. Where I'm sort of hovering here with the cursor is a light that had the top of it sheared off, and I just set it on top, and then there's a space here because there was another light here. And so when I have delivery drivers come, they knock my lights over. And so I think the problem, like I thought about this before I put the lights up, and I tried making enough room for drivers to turn. Well, this maybe we'll come back to if the exact location of the lights comes into play. But so what I had envisioned is this is the street down here, and a driver would come up and do one of two things: either pull in front of the house and then back up to this in the side drive and then go out again, or come in, and I've seen some drivers back up into the side drive and then come forward, back up into the side drive, leave, whatever. That part, these are normal ways of doing it, and they don't cause any problems. But then there's some people, and I don't understand what they're doing, but they don't want to, they just want to stay in this little circle here. They come up and then they move a little, they move a little, they move a little, like two of the trees here have bark knocked off of them. And these two poor driveway lights have gotten knocked over and the top sheared off. And so this is the problem. And so how to solve this? And so the driveway lights have actually been discontinued. And luckily I bought a couple on eBay after I thought this through. And so I have a couple, but I don't want to just put them out there and then have them sheared off again. And given that the whole reason I did this was for aesthetics, I don't want to, like put up cinder blocks or something to block the trucks. And so I'm trying to think if there's, other than, passing out instructions of how to turn around in the driveway or refusing to order anything that needs a delivery, which I could do. I'm trying to
Just specify a non-stupid delivery driver.
Yeah, part of it, I've noticed that they have, so the standard drivers they usually at least know how to drive back up in a driveway, but it's usually like when they have extra drivers that they hire when they're really busy, and those people aren't trained. They're just, they just said, here, deliver this stuff, here's the addresses. So anyway, I'm trying to decide if there's anything like that I can put some kind of a warning system. I tried putting stones here. I had a couple white PVC posts, which were not aesthetic, but I put out there and they just knocked those over. And so I have other things I could, posts that I could put up there, but can I have something that yells at people or flashes or a warning or
A big rock.
What about a container? Like, hey, drop it off here and we'll pick it up.
So first of all, it might look long, but the driveway isn't that long. So some people do just stop the truck and run it up, and that is a possibility. I could put a container down at the bottom, but there's another person who lives at the house who isn't very mobile, and so he couldn't pick up the packages at the driveway. So I'm out of town or whatever. So that's a possibility, or that's not a really good possibility, but I'm trying to think of, so try
Actually,
embed.
the big rock is not a bad idea. If you put it right at the curve in the middle between those two lights, believe me, they're gonna notice that rock and not want to hit it. And if that rock is preventing, and it would still look aesthetically okay,
Yeah.
because the rock would be natural,
The
right?
problem is, you'd have to have a delivery driver drop the rock off.
Or pile of rocks.
Hopefully not at the street.
But
Can
no,
you think of anything that is preventing them from pulling further ahead? Why they're stopping short?
Well, so I've thought of that, and right now, there's, further down here, there are some leaves covering it, and I should get rid of them, but the first one got knocked off in the summertime, and so it was,
Does
I
it
don't
look-
know.
It wasn't
does
a
it look
matter of,
driveway-like, or does it look?
so they could certainly pull ahead
Natural area.
further than they do, and, right, I guess I used to have another car parked down there, but it's been in the shop for a year.
Are
And
those lights powered by something underground?
no,
the solar.
Solar lights?
no, they're, it's a 12-volt cable that, it's actually not underground, but
Okay, but same thing. So there's a power cable running all the way from light
Right.
to light. So there's 12 volts DC
yes,
available.
there is.
you can get a 12-volt rock.
So, but I'm betting that they've always been hit when the lights are off during the day. Which means the lights maybe are not visible enough for somebody to see them when they're not on. Putting something on the light that makes it more visible may help. And you can always test it without a light by just sticking a PVC pole there with something wrapped around it and see if it works. Like something fluorescent or something that is obvious, that makes it obvious it's there.
So I could have
These are
a
low-tech
sensor that would,
solutions, but
just
maybe that's all
flash.
you need.
To make people notice that there's a light. That's a
Well, but
good.
something flashing on a summer day where the sun's bright nobody's gonna see it.
But worse than that, I think the fundamental problem is that when the things are behind the truck, the driver cannot see unless he's got a backup screen.
A backup camera.
He's got to have a backup camera
What do you-
to have any chance of seeing the thing. So her idea of flashing lights, I think, would be very, very effective if
The rock to the side.
they were offset, like out here.
Flashing lights are not the most aesthetic thing in the world.
If it only flashed, like, it had a proximity detector.
Exactly.
That's what I was just thinking as you were
Yeah,
mentioning
no,
that.
I thought we were talking about that when it sensed something close to the thing, it would flash. But I like the big rock.
12-volt rock, just to get a 12-volt rock.
And then after it gets fixed, we can all get stoned.
Yeah.
What else?
Take pictures and send a bill to the carrier.
I actually looked into, I thought of this, I have an extra little camera, but it's really difficult to sue or to get any kind of compensation from the carrier.
Well, actually, I wasn't looking for real compensation, but if you do that enough, I would think the owner of the business or whoever's managing the office would
UPS.
mention to the driver, if you're going to this house.
If you go to small claims court, you can do that as an individual. The company has to have a lawyer. It will cost them $2,000 to have a lawyer show up and do lawyer thing. So they basically have to settle.
Yeah,
Except
never
I
thought
can't
about
buy any
small
more-
claims court.
Yeah.
That's-
I can't buy any more lights because they stopped making them, so money isn't even,
It's not
I
even,
just want them to stop doing it.
Well,
We can make 12-volt lights.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Even ones that look similar to the ones you had, and if you've got broken pieces, we can
that's true. I do have
Fabric.
it's the outside part that, yes, I guess it could be patched back together again. Okay, so that's a possibility. So I got rocks. I got.
I like rock,
Hey, there's 3 or 4 of us here who like the rock idea.
especially because it's on your property. If you put a rock next to a state road, you know, the state owns quite a bit off of the
They
edge of
have
the road.
easements, yeah. Easements
You
off
think
the
you
road.
own it, but you don't, and if you put a rock there, that's not good. But this is clearly on the property, so
Then I just have to make sure I don't hit it. But
that's true.
You know where the rock is.
It's true.
Maybe a squishy rock, maybe only a
well, it could be
2-pound
one of those,
rock.
Oh, I have one
So it
covering
looks
my
like-
well pump.
yeah,
Yes.
it could be one of those fiberglass rocks.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be a rock.
Yeah,
Just has to look
that's
like a
an
rock.
idea.
Fiberglass.
It look like a rock.
Yeah.
A fiberglass rock with a Claymore mine.
With the what?
Claymore mine.
Claymore mine.
It would explode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but it goes away from your house. It would, the blast would be.
They're moderately highly
Yeah,
directed.
they can focus the explosion. Right into the truck.
Hmm.
Okay. Or something with a proximity detector that would call attention to the light. I didn't pay
You
attention
could
to
do
whether.
both. You do the rock and a proximity select detector.
You can
That's
have a hole
actually
in that
mounted on the rock. That would be the perfect place to put it to.
That's true.
I've always wanted to see a private setup that someone's had with a diesel horn. like you see on trains
Right.
Or
Okay.
ship horns.
Well, they have those cans,
that would get the truck driver's attention.
but he won't know where it's coming from.
He will just
It freeze.
freeze up.
Or he'll freak out and hit the gas pedal in the wrong direction.
It would have to be loud enough for them to hear it while the doors are closed.
That is true. That is true.
We
would
can get
have
a
to
loud
do some
horn for it.
obnoxious noise.
big horn would-
And fiberglass might even break after it gets hit.
So I think I probably would go for a real rock that is a little more aesthetic than the fiberglass.
An
thing I have in
aesthetic
the
rock.
backyard. But yes. So if my kids want to know what I wanted for Christmas.
There you go, chunk of coal.
A large chunk of coal. Yes. All right, well, thank you, everybody.
I don't know what else you can do. That's,
Can't you just move the lights further away from the road where you don't want to change how it looks because it's nice?
So that is, I sort of tried doing that. And so to some degree, I modified like the curvature of the line coming up. And then I actually put some smaller rocks, not the size that we're talking about, only like, 12 or by 18 out from the lights, but they weren't tall enough. And so, but there are other constraints, unfortunately, that don't allow me to put them too far back away from the road. So, but yes, that is a good thought. Anybody else out there in remote land have anything to say?
There's only one person there.
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay. So this is all right. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and let me unshare.
Thank you. All right, we don't have a presentation tonight, but show and tell. So this past weekend, I delivered my present to my grandkids.
You've already delivered it.
Huh?
You've already
It's already
delivered.
been delivered. I spent last week getting things ready. I spent most of Tuesday at Makerspace at Durham Tech, fighting software, trying to get the CNC shop bot to cut out a really nice stand with nice arches. And
How does one get access to the makerspace at Durham Tech?
one takes a course at Durham Tech somehow, continuing education.
Okay.
I don't know what happens if you just walk in and say hi. It's in Building 10, the Newton Center.
Okay.
So anyhow, Tuesday I spent all day fighting software. Finally got it. Got all my CNC pads ready to go. Came back Wednesday and ran some tests. And wasn't really happy with the finish I was getting. I was cutting yellow pine 2x6. Their ShopBot has a vacuum hold down on the table. The table has MDF or something on it. There's a big vacuum that sucks air through. And we have the piece of 2x6 kickoff, loose vacuum. So I went home, in an hour I had it all done on my table saw.
Just pull your laptop lid towards you a little bit. If you pull it towards you, there you go.
So the one that was delivered had some additional gears and a piece of plexiglass over here.
Look on your screen so everybody, so it becomes the primary.
All good ideas. The motivation for this whole thing was the old Jack in the Box that has the crank that plays Pop Goes the Weasel. And the faster you spin the crank, the faster the tune goes. So this gear has some black spots on the back, and there's a light sensor behind it. The one I delivered has a crank handle on the big orange gear. I don't know if people online can hear that. It's Gino the Muffin Man. And if we go faster, so it's got a bunch of songs on it. It's got a PSP32C3 on a little development board called a C3 Pico. It has a LiPo jack, so there's a LiPo battery here that's powering it. The custom shield is mostly just a place to solder some wires. This is the line sensor, looking at the spots on the back of this gear. I wanted to wake up when one of the grandkids comes and starts cranking. The light sensor, when it's in deep sleep, isn't enabled and wasn't being measured, so I can't use that. I ended up on this other gear embedding a magnet on the back of it, and I have a reed switch here connected to a GPIO, and wakes up on the GPIO pin toggling. I can measure RPM, so I can measure the gears turning with the reed switch. But reed switches are noisy, and I only have one magnet, whereas I've got 6 spots on this one. So it is working. The kids recognized the songs more or less. Yeah.
What's the little narrow blue thing on the back?
So that is a little megaphone for my speaker. I have it's just a piezo buzzer.
Got it.
They're different kinds. They're active and kind of passive. So this one is just a piezo diaphragm, and to make a tone, you have to give it a square wave at the right frequency. Other ones, when they voltage, they squeak to whatever frequency they get programmed into it.
I got a question.
Okay.
How old are the kids that you did these to?
1 and almost 3.
Okay. Is the back of this thing covered on the version you gave them?
Yes. So this is the top. This is the bottom. It has a USB. This one has a USB extension
So
so that
but
you can charge the battery.
if it got sides, what I'm thinking is they're gonna go in there and grab those wires and yank it apart, and all of a sudden the thing stops working. And Grandpa gets a call.
Let me share my screen.
Open
source.
SCAD.
It uses constructive solid geometry. I'm plugging my laptop too. Crap out. Doing the recording. And, yeah, so I have code to monitor the spots as they go by. If they stop cranking, I want to stop playing notes. And if they stop cranking for a while, I want to go back to the beginning of the song.
But it's easy to use. So this was actually
Let's still need yeah, so there is the here's the enclosure. It's 2x6s. We've been trimmed a little bit on my table saw. I had wanted to use the shop rock to make some fancy joints at the corners.
It looks a lot like,
But I took it home and
over years ago.
just did lighter joints. And so this is on a larger piece of 1/4-inch plywood. It sets down on the top, and this fits inside the 2x6s on the bottom. It gets screwed on these little cleats.
Probably turn this. Okay, they're not. Oh, okay, we're seeing this. Daniel is seeing this.
So I'm
Yeah, I can switch between his video and the other video, so I'm fine.
So
Oh, cool.
My camera's still working, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I can still see it.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Mine is. You're visible now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this keeps the kids away from the wires.
This is free, SCAD is free.
100% free. It uses C programming.
Yeah, so I pretty quickly, so I had like, if it stops turning for 1 second, I pause the notes and then start up, continue the song. If it was more than 1.5 seconds or something, I start back to the beginning. And when the kids started using it, it would constantly be going back to the beginning. So crank a little bit and stop, crank a little bit and stop. So Mary had, Mary had, Mary had, Mary had. So I changed that time out, and now it goes to the end of the song. Pretty much no matter how long you pause. And that was much more satisfying. I have worked on a web interface to this so that I can adjust some of these timing things without having to re-download the code, which would be something my children could do for my grandchildren. But I haven't debugged that yet. So I'm working on this one. I'll get it working, get the code working, and ship it out to them and have them replace these parts with these parts, and it should just run. So I got it done just barely in time. We had Christmas on Saturday.
Oh, why so early?
One sort of there. So
I guess that's personal, but anyway.
So the cottage that I built next to my daughter's house is also used by vet students who come and do rotations
Yes.
at the clinic that my son-in-law runs. And there's going to be a vet student there the week between Christmas and New Year's. And we were asked if that was okay, and we said yes, that's fine. So we came earlier in the month. And we left last Thursday to avoid the snow that was supposed to be happening Friday morning. And we came home before today's snow. So it all worked out.
And eventually you're gonna have this on a website so they can just download the software without, this will have an interface to it?
I hadn't planned on that. I was planning to teach my son-in-law how to install and run the Arduino IDE, but if you had a bin file, you can use the ESP tool. It's called ESP tool, so there'd be a command line that you could run to download the bin file.
You could send them a bin file on an email and
Yeah.
part it up, or zip it up.
Stick it up on the
And
cloud
unzip
somewhere.
it and then upload it to the device. Or set the whole thing up Wi-Fi and you can do it from home. Just say, plug this into the Wi-Fi.
Well, that's fun.
And do OTA updates.
Yeah.
That's all possible. So I have been making boards at Osh Park. This is the
Show it on your camera.
Nope.
That's not what they're seeing right now.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing your camera. It's fine.
You can see it on the side.
Yeah. Well, I can click on it and make it big. So yeah.
about $5 1 square inch. There's one little pull-up resistor and just a bunch of pads for the pins and soldering wires to the line sensor and the reed switch. And I had a space to put the speaker, but I found that it was somewhat quiet. And I made this little megaphone that's on the back, so I just solder a couple more wires into the holes there where the speaker would have gone. This particular, so Osh Park gives you 3, whether you want 1 or 2 or 3. There's one in the device at the mountains. I went to solder this one today. I put on my little pull-up resistor, and I went to do the pins, and it was difficult to push the pins in one side. I was thinking maybe I got some solder on the hole or something. The second little pin here, the one that's with the arrow that says add, isn't plated through properly. And it looks a little dark, like there's a piece of crud or something in there. I checked the other one, which is the one that's on the back here, and it's fine. I didn't notice anything on the first one, so some kind of a manufacturing defect on this one pad, on this one board.
You'll be able to get in there with a little drill and
Well,
Drill it out.
or
I
you
almost,
probably replace it with it.
they will.
Well, they would.
Yeah.
They would.
They will. And so I took a nice close-up picture of it. I've had a board in the past where one component, they did not plate through the holes, the pads from the front and the back. And I sent them some pictures, and I said, those are great pictures. Obviously, it's not plated. We don't understand why. You put your design back on the next express service, and you get 3 or 4 days, which I did. But this seems to be some kind of a defect only on this one board, so not a process defect, a manufacturing defect, not a design defect.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say it's pretty unusual. We've been using Osh Park since 2012. Over 100 different designs, and I've had exactly one problem. I had a set of boards where 1 or 2 out of 3 were over etched, and so a trace it was etched through partway through it. And I reported it to them, and I told them, hey, don't, this is just FYI.
Yeah.
But no, they sent me replacements.
Anybody else doing things?
I've been, I have a vacuum chamber that I'm using for a microscope and some other things. And I plumbed in the chilled water supply and got the Peltier down to -32 C. And this is a single stage Peltier. And I think with the multi-stage Peltier, and another intermediate stage, I'm hoping to get to like -170, -180, which is liquid nitrogen. If I, it's because it's in a vacuum chamber. The Peltiers won't be radiating. They won't be having to heat the air. And I have to say, it's being able to make liquid nitrogen in a Peltier has no particular use except bragging rights.
So it's liquid nitrogen temperature. It's not. You can't put liquid nitrogen in a vacuum chamber, can you?
No, I could plumb in a brass line,
I see.
run the nitrogen through, but I'm only talking, a very small area. And that would be the microscope stage. But if and there's a 350 watt Peltier driving a 250 watt Peltier driving the stacked Peltier with 6 layers, and the -40 is what the big Peltier 350 watts should be able to get to, and then another delta T of -30, and then 125 for the stacked Peltier, which means that this little area at the top, I'm not going for absolute zero yet.
Yeah.
It occurred to me, but it's it's But yeah, there are, if you're doing tunneling electron microscopes, which this is what the stage is built into, it's a lot easier if what you're looking at is cold. But if you don't do it in the vacuum chamber, you end up with looking at snow because all the humidity in the air condense. So I've got this big bell jar thing and vacuum pumps. It's all very fun looking.
Is the bell jar metal?
No, it's a big glass bell jar. And then there's a big old Welch's vacuum pump that runs it, and there's bottom connections for BNCs, sensors, and water flow and gas flow. So, but yeah, let's say getting to liquid nitrogen is, it's, if you look on the internet, various people have got close, but nobody's done it in the vacuum chamber. Only worth the bragging rights, but I'm gonna go for it. So that's my fun.
What made you choose Peltiers to cool it down? To try other ways to cool it down? That seems kind of inefficient, but that's okay.
Yeah, they're extremely inefficient. All I need is a few centimeters, and I didn't want to have to plumb I mean, I've looked at various schemes for plumbing and cooling gases, and if I can get to minus 100 on the Peltier, that's fine for looking at the materials I want to look at with the microscope. And I have a bunch of 100 amp supplies that I might as well use, and they're simple.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, if you have them around, you might as well use them, right?
Yeah, I mean the idea of having to plumb a multi-stage vacuum pump scared the shit out of me. I mean, I've looked at people who've done it, and you can do it by replacing the gas. You can get one of the little refrigerators and get rid of the freon and do a multi-stage gas. And people have got to like minus 150 using that. Nobody that I have looked at online has got to liquid nitrogen by doing that. And the people that have done it they spent a lot of time plumbing these 2 or 3 stage vacuum pump, 2 or 3 stage refrigeration things, and the Peltiers were just simpler. And I'm not after removing a whole bunch of heat, and I'm not after making production. I'm not even after making a single drop of liquid nitrogen. It would just be nice to be able to get that cold. Or it's all I'm after is to stop the surface motion on a piece of graphene.
Yeah, and it's a really small area too, right? So cool.
Anybody else working on anything?
Oh, just my project. I don't know who. This is the
Cat detector.
The cat detector. It's I got this from what's the name of the place now? I can't remember. Temu. And I don't know, to get a minimum of $25, I bought 4 of these and 3 what do they call them again? I forget what I was the name of them, but time of flight, yeah, detectors. Anyway, so and the time and the weight for this is right where the cat would be. So it should work. I've just got to sit down and figure out how I'm going to do it.
And that's a flexible resistor, so the
Yes,
resistance changes.
so what I have is a heating pad that's made for animals, It'll stay on up to 10 hours, and then you gotta shut it off, turn it on again. So I gotta figure out a way to get around that problem too. And there's a bed which kind of has 3 sides and a little lip in the front, which the cat just jumps right into. So the bed sits on top of the heater. So I'm gonna put this between the bed and the heater, so once the cat jumps in, turns the heater on. And then stays on until the cat jumps out. And then maybe have a lag time of about 10 minutes or something before it jumps off, because she may jump right back in again. You know, I don't want to do it in such a way that it keeps causing the timer to switch on and off, on and off, on and off all the time. But yeah, so this is the thing I got.
Are you going to use like a solid state relay to turn the heater on and off?
Well, you see, because there's a 10-hour timer in there, I may have to jerry-rig the actual control box so that it stays on all the time. Then I could use something like that. Or I could just cause something to flick on and off real quick, which would reset the timer to 10 hours. You can change the amount of time and the amount of heat. So it's 130 degrees F is what it goes up to.
Does it retain the settings you want to retain?
Yeah,
Just unplug
if you
it, plug it back?
well, if you turn it off, it does. I've never actually unplugged it to see what happens. That's interesting, because if you actually got to change the settings every time, that may play into this. So I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that. I may still have to go into their thing and just say I'm going to get rid of all their electronics and just run wired straight into the outlet, and then put something between it and the wall that I'm controlling.
Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna send a message to your house telling you the cat's.
Well, the cat's in the garage.
Yeah, but you know, that way you'll know the cat's in the garage.
Yeah, well, in the wintertime, she's been in there almost 100% of the time, sitting in her bed. It's too cold out. She's getting old, so she just stays in the bed. I just hope I get to it before she croaks.
It's a regular bed, not a cradle, right?
No, it's a regular bed.
You said cats in that bed.
Not
Yeah, I
a-
mean, it doesn't rock or
It's
anything.
not a hammock.
Huh?
It's not a hammock.
No, it's not a hammock. It doesn't rock. It's
I'm
just,
teasing
it's
about the song, cats in the cradle.
cats in the cradle.
So
I fell for that
it's
one.
not good when you have to explain stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but yeah, no, it's,
Do you have a little night light for her, so, you know?
no, we don't. But cats have a better vision at night than we do, so.
It's an old
She
cat.
seems to get up in the middle of the night, go to her litter box, go back to the bed without a problem, so.
Yep.
Me too. You too, so do I.
I don't have a problem, I just.
Amble on into the bathroom. And once you get to a certain age, you visit that room a lot every night.
Oh, yeah.
So does that thing just has two
Just has two,
connections?
yeah, it just has
It's
two
just a-
wires.
very
Here, I'll pass it around.
And it's just pressure sensitive.
Yeah. Well, it's,
I think it's flex.
it's sensitive when you bend it, and it changes resistance.
So if it's in styrofoam and a cat got on it, you would bend it a little bit.
Right. Oh, it's definitely got a bend. It's not a problem. It's all cloth.
Dan Stipe was using something like this on his fingers. Was that?
Like
To
control,
detect
like
the
a
bending
hand,
of
a glove or
joint
something?
angles.
Actually, he was using multi-axis sensors.
He ended up with accelerometers on each link, but he
Right.
started with
We didn't really use those. I mean, we looked at the sensors and so on, but didn't really use it. We focused on a very smart chip. It's an ARM processor with a set of sensors. static acceleration, 3 axes, and then a magnetometer, direction to the world. And they would fit on a fingernail. The board would fit on a fingernail, and that was a Osh Park 4-wheeler board.
Actually, I put the URL right to this item in last month's video.
Oh,
So if you click on it, it's a really long link. When Scott last time said, if you take off everything up, hit a question mark, yeah, you don't get the item. You only get their main page.
Sometimes the very first thing after the question mark will be like the part number. And you can
Yeah,
get
well,
rid of
the
a lot of
question
it.
mark is the beginning of the query, right? So you don't even need the question mark if you're gonna take everything off. But if you want to actually see the item, you gotta
Frequently, the
leave
first
the whole URL.
parameter after the question.
Oh, the first part of the query,
Yeah.
first query. And
Well, I
everything
have
else you
found
can
it-
take off.
Yeah.
The rest of it.
I didn't try that.
Say P equals 1065374.
Right.
And
The
that
rest of
takes
it's
you
the
to the part
affiliate
number or
link, so
something.
somebody gets, 2 cents credit for directing you there.
You go into the video?
made a copy of this.
Oh,
This doesn't have those links.
no, this isn't even gonna tell you it doesn't tell you much about the part at all.
Well, the part number's right at the bottom.
Well, the
This-
part number is, but on the barcode.
Right. It says RP-L-110, one piece. So the part number is here, and then the SKU.
Yeah.
That is the barcode. So I don't know if I can put that into, share that somehow. All right. Thank you.
Anything else?
So, Daniel, did you have something?
So I just have some things that I'm working on. I'm looking for help for people to help me work on it. But I'm have a print head in my garage, and I have a printer. I'm trying to put together this powder bed 3D printer, and I have some components on it, and I'm working with using an XAR print head and trying to control it. And there's I'm not too electronically savvy, so I'm learning as I go. But
Does that have the inkjet printer so you can make colored prints?
so this is particularly for, I have to use piezoelectric print heads as opposed to using the normal like HP print heads. So you have to find, there's some printers that do that. So initially I just bought an old printer and tried to use that, but I couldn't set it up because it was all, a lot of proprietary stuff on there. So then I thought, well, I got to buy my own print head, but they're expensive to buy on your own. They're like, $3,000, $2,000 to buy just the print head. And then you have to buy the electronics to run the print head. And then you have to tell the print head where it is on, there's, so I had some stepper motors, or some motors that I changed the stepper motors. Then I realized that I needed, they were DC motors with something on it to count how many times it spins. I forgot what it's called.
Encoder, yeah.
Yeah, the encoder. That's what it is. But when I was trying to read the encoder, I couldn't get I was controlling this with the Raspberry Pi, so I couldn't get the Raspberry Pi to read it very well. So that's one reason I changed the stepper motors. But then the stepper motors don't move as fast. So then I was, realizing that I just needed to like add in resistance to the encoder so the Raspberry Pi could read it some more because the voltage was too high or something that was messing up the Pi signal. It needed a 3-volt signal and it was spitting out a 5-volt signal. So things like that I'm learning about, but you know, I haven't put that all together yet. So there's not particularly one part of it I'm working on. Just in general, there's a lot that I want to do with and learn more about.
All right, sounds like an interesting project. Sounds like you're learning a lot too.
Yep.